This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Hey, this is Brian Peña. I always join the Vito podcast, the best podcast in the United States.
This week's Bad Hombres podcast is brought to you by The Athletic. Premium coverage for passionate Detroit sports fans. Bad Hombres listeners can get 20% off the first year of an annual subscription by visiting theathletic.com/DSP.
I was trying to get it how I live. I want them dead presidents. I want to pull up, head spin, get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs, I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. Get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs.
And we are still not tired on this week's episode of Bad Hombres. I am your host, Vito Geronimo Turco, alongside my usual sidekick and broadcast partner and fun, that is the Doc from Doc and Jock, John Charles Macaroon. John, how are you doing?
Vito, welcome to the weekend. How are you, sir? Have you avoided the flu? Have you avoided the colds that have been going around? My goodness. Luckily, this week we had a couple days where there was no snow. My goodness, Vito. I know people don't like people that complain about the snow because we live in Michigan. It's like, dude, come on. You've lived here for years. You know that from November until February, March, it's going to be cold. It's going to be snowy. But still, when it snows like that, I mean, my goodness, last week, Snowmageddon was unreal. It cost me money personally, but in the end, though, it was nice finally to have a day off where you just sit at home, shovel the snow, eat a lot, and kind of rest. And so it was a little bit tough in that I couldn't stay home the whole day, but from the morning time up until 6 o'clock, I was eating, drinking, Netflixing, DVRing, and having a good old time before I went out to the arena to see Oakland University defeat Detroit Mercy. But it was a hellacious drive, one where I had to be patient and things like that. And so for me, I am kind of over the weather. I survived Snowmageddon. It was fun. The kids had the day off, so I got a chance to hang out with them. But it just shuts everything down. A lot of things closed. Nobody came in. I had 8 scheduled appointments that day, and luckily I was able to move 5 of them to either Saturday or Sunday of that week. But my goodness, man, when it snows like that, it just shuts everything down. But in the end, though, Vito, people do complain about the drive. I drove from my house, which is about 20 miles away from Oakland University, and it was a smooth drive. I mean, it was slow, but as long as you drive safely, as long as you don't go too fast, I don't get why people complain so much. And the other thing that I guess I could ask you to start is, I don't understand how cars get in ditches. I mean, I'm driving up the road, and I'm going like maybe 5 miles under the speed limit, 2 hands on the wheel, focused on the road.
Not on Twitter? On your phone?
No, not on Twitter, not on the phone, not on nothing.
Wow.
And I still always see a myriad of cars staring at me, looking, okay, fine, I can understand the car being in the ditch, facing the same way I'm going. But how do cars get in ditches facing the other way? It's like, do you just spin the wheel?
Well, you spin out, obviously, and don't jinx yourself, Doc. Come on, man.
I have never spun out.
I know, not yet.
I've never spun out, and I probably never
You never
will.
have?
No, I've never spun out. But have you ever spun out?
No, never have. I don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to make fun of those people. Come on, man.
I feel like the rules
treacherous roads
of driving should be
tumultuous times. People can't drive in those conditions. Now, some people are worse than others in driving in those conditions. Now, do you take it slow?
Yeah.
You were kind of inferring that. You do take it extremely slow when there is snow like there was on Friday of last week, yeah?
Extremely slow, of course. Yeah, you got to be careful. I don't want to spin out. I don't want to.
Well, see, is that how they're spinning out? I guess that's probably why. But sometimes you could be going extremely slow and you just spin out, depending on your car, I guess what the make is, how small it is, right? How it endures the snow and snowy conditions. Not every single vehicle is good in the snow. Remember that, too. So I guess cars can just spin out, and they're going to spin out. You're never going to see roads completely void of what? Of spin-outs. When there is that big amount of snow, those bad weather conditions, it's bound to happen somewhere at some point in time.
How'd you experience Snowmageddon? What happened to you?
I went to work on Friday myself. I still went in. You didn't even go in. Well, you went to work kind of at night for the OU game. But I went into Royal Oak, and I went in later. I do go in later anyways. I don't go in right first thing in the morning, so I avoid the bad traffic,
512
very
was
bad
open?
roads. Now, the store wasn't. Top Cat was. Top Cat is always open, man. Come on. We don't shut down for anything, no matter the conditions out there. We're just warriors, okay? We're valiant, too. So I was there on Friday afternoon at Top Cat in Royal Oak. I survived the conditions. It wasn't horrible. Was it great? No. But was it horrible? No. People do freak out and make it worse than it really is, typically. And they did for Snowmageddon. They called it Snowmageddon. Like, who came up with that? Come on, Snowmageddon. Now, we got a ton of inches, and then it snowed last Saturday as well. I know you laughed at the inches part. I know you did. But we got a ton of snow. We got over a foot, didn't we? I think everywhere. Even in Macomb County, Clinton Township, and our areas of where we live, I mean, it did snow that much where we got over a foot of snow. And that doesn't just happen in Clinton Township or Macomb Township. It doesn't. Now, by the water, by the lakes, yes. Now, where we live, and not in the UP, usually not. So that tells you, that screams to you that we had a lot of snow and more than usual. And I guess that's why they termed it, the weathermen and women out there termed it Snowmageddon, but I still kind of laughed at that. And then I did the funny, sarcastic video from my house that I believe you watched last Friday when I got home from Top Cat, looking at the snow and saying, oh, who doesn't love this? I mean, give me one person that would tell you they don't love this snow and the conditions that are present. I mean, I'm going to get my board shorts on. I was making fun of it, but at the end of the day, still, it wasn't extremely safe to drive in those conditions. And I didn't really want to go anywhere else besides for work. And I stayed in the rest of that night. I did some work from home. Luckily, I was able to do the work from home last Friday. You went to OU out there in the treacherous conditions. I give you the benefit of the doubt, the credit that you deserve for braving the conditions, going out there and being Braveheart at the arena.
Yeah, it was
You
nice.
were quite the man.
Listen,
last Friday.
I don't get shut down by the snow. I mean, I am self-employed, so I am obviously bound by those that call and say they're not coming. So in this business, when you have a practice and you have an appointment-based business, you recognize that sometimes people are not going to come, and sometimes you just schedule in snow days. And it was awesome to have a day off. To tell you the truth, I enjoyed going out to the arena because the drive was safe. It was slow. There wasn't that much traffic
So
out there.
let me ask you, I didn't ask you yet. How long does it normally take you from your house to the arena? And then how long did it take you last Friday?
Exactly. The drive was basically probably maybe 20 minutes longer. It's usually about a 18 to 25 minute drive.
Really, only that amount?
It took me about
Okay.
40 minutes. But
So for you, you weren't dying out there. It wasn't horrible.
Nope.
Could have been worse, right?
Could have been worse. I enjoyed it. I advocate that you just drive safely, take care of yourself, and we can get through it. It's Michigan. We should be tougher. We should have more grit. I feel like Michiganders need to have more grit and stop complaining about the snow. I think it was great. I like the weather. The girls get to bundle up. They got their snowsuits, and we have a good old time with it. People need to kind of chill out with that. It's nonsense.
So you got to stay with the kids, with the wife, with the fam. What did your girls do actually outside?
Snow angels, throw snow at each other. My girls like to wipe my car off. They like to wipe the snow off of my car.
Really? You've got girls, kids like that are willing to wipe off your car?
With their gloves. They just like to go, because, it's built up, so they just kind of
Yeah.
wipe it with their hands and get all messy.
And they thought it was fun, though,
Yeah,
too, right? And they're helping you out a little bit.
It's kinda
Hey,
funny.
Daddy doesn't have to wipe off the car now. You're loving that aspect of it, probably.
It's fun, and they like to throw snow at me and throw snow at each other, and they have a good old time. But, the problem is, though, when you do snow angels, their hats come off, and you're worried about frostbite.
And them getting sick, right?
them
So you have
getting
to watch out
sick.
for that. So you're out there, you and the wife were out there, too, watching them the whole entire time when they were outside then.
100%. It was a good old time, and I like playing in the snow. I think it's fun. Take some videos and have a good old time.
Were you making a snow angel?
No, I don't do
I
snow
would
angels.
love to see you do a snow angel. I would do that, by the way, too, if the Tigers get above 70 winds. Now, it won't be snowy then, but
Now I want to
anyways.
ask, because I have yet, and I probably don't think this is going to come as a big surprise to you, I do not own a snowblower. Okay, so I'm a shoveler.
Okay.
And so I really enjoy it. And people are like, what? What do you mean you enjoy shoveling? I don't obviously get that much exercise in my life because I'm so
So you're
busy.
saying that's your form of exercise? So you have to wait for it to snow for you to get exercise?
No, I'm exercising now.
No, you
seen
are
I've
now,
lost
more.
weight.
You are. Let me give him credit.
I'm
Yep.
going to the gym about a couple times a week, but I enjoy shoveling snow. I enjoy the part where you kind of just take a bunch of snow and throw it different places. Good ab workout. All these people, and I'm lucky. I got good neighbors. They help me out a little bit. But when it snows, based on the size of my property, it takes me about an hour and 35 minutes to clear it all out.
Now that sucks.
Because I got a big driveway and both streets there and both parts of the sidewalk. So I advocate that, look, get out there, get in the elements. I put on a hat, I put on layers, and I'm out there shoveling the snow, and I like it. But there are times when I kind of do like to see the neighbors with the plow,
Yeah.
just the sidewalks for me so I can just do the garage.
To my drive, too, you're whispering to them?
Yeah,
or
no,
looking over to
it's
them?
a
Hey.
lot. No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But, the good thing is I've started to obviously value the rules of the city, which is I don't leave my car on the public side because
To get ticketed?
there are cars getting I don't think they get ticketed, but they get plowed in, and it's bad.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, but the funny thing is in Macomb, I don't know what it's like on your end. And I'm curious if you do shovel the snow yourself or you make your poor old
My
dad do it.
6-year-old dad do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but my subdivision is the worst at shoveling the snow. It takes them literally they did not start plowing until 11 p.m. of that day. And the drive to Oakland was better than was safer and easier than the drive out of my sub. It was that icy. It's like, dude, I only pay a little bit of an amount for the homeowners association fee, but I'd be willing to pay $5, $10 more a year if you can get the people that plow the snow in there a little bit faster. My God, it was bad in Macomb. I couldn't believe how bad it was. But in the end, I survived it. I do enjoy shoveling the snow. I think it's a fun activity. And people always look at me because...
Well, I'm going to look at you cross-eyed, too. I'm flabbergasted
I'm
here,
in a hoity-toity neighborhood where everybody's got these big monstrous snow plows. And, dude, I'm out there for an hour and a half. These dudes are out there for like 15 minutes. Come on now.
So are you jealous of them?
I am a little jealous.
Why don't you get the snowblower? You got the big pockets too, man, the big pocketbook. Come on, dude.
And the part that might be more infuriating to you is I have access to get them for free.
Then what the hell are you doing, man? You don't need to work out that bad in the snow. Go work out at LA Fitness or wherever you're going. Come on, like you are already.
I tell the neighbors, I genuinely like shoveling. I like it.
So would that be a nice Monday morning activity for you to get, would that get you going?
And then
you start shoveling,
ask,
you get going, or what?
I got to get your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Should I wait until? Typically, what I do is I wait till about maybe a couple hours into a snow, like it was snowed all day. I did it twice. So
that's not too bad.
Yeah. Some people say maybe you just wait for the whole thing to come down.
Yeah, I know. People like Neil Rule.
Yeah.
Didn't he tweet that out? Are you thinking of him too, by the way?
Exactly.
I think he tweeted that out.
I do it
so
twice.
He made fun of you pretty much, right? He made fun of you and everybody else. My dad and I and my brother, we shoveled more than once too. Now my dad did most of it. I got to admit. I didn't do a ton of it. I don't do a ton of it. I help out, though. I went out there on Saturday. I went out there and helped him out. And
wait a minute. Why are you not doing it exclusively, you and your dad?
Well, he doesn't at the dawn of... he's there at the crack of dawn shoveling when I'm asleep in bed. Okay? He gets up early for his work. He has to get up, and he just does it. He takes care of business. He doesn't wait for any of us to get up. He just does it. So I guess I'm being a dick to him, to my 6-year-old father, who allows me to live at my house for free right now with him and my mom. But anyways... We shoveled more than once, so I guess we would be made fun of by Neil Rule and others, too, that have that mentality of shoveling once. The thing is, though, because it was Snowmageddon, right, in air quotes here, well, it was so bad, that means a foot of snow fell. So if you would have shoveled the one time, well, you would have had to wait to leave your house until then. It was too much snow to wait, I think, to wait it out. Now, if it's a smaller snowfall, I say only shovel once, and you would only shovel once. But I think you should shovel more than once. Because how would you get out of your driveway and get anywhere? If you had to go somewhere, right? Before that big snowfall completed, what are you going to do? You can't drive through you can't roll out of your driveway then. So how do you do it? Like, how is Neil Rule? I guess he stayed in then? Are people like that, Doc? what is there? I get it, a little bit of the mentality, but when Vito, it's Snowmageddon, how are you dealing with life?
Vito, have you seen some of these snowplows, some of these blowers? Oh my goodness, man, they're amazing.
And I guess if you have that, right, if you have the snowblower, if you're bringing that into the equation, then you probably only do it once.
Yeah.
But if you have a shovel like we shovel, we don't have a snowblower either.
Right.
But we don't have the deep pocketbooks that you do, Doc. And your mansion of a house.
Maybe you need to write for a couple more entities, Vito.
Right, another 2, 3, or get a full-fledged job. That'd be nice, too. But anyways.
Maybe when you start writing some controversial pieces, some hot take artistry, then you got to get paid more for them.
Like the Blake Griffin piece. Perfect seg. Look at you.
Like that?
Perfect.
You like
Perfect.
that? What did you do, Vito? You riled it up. I've never seen so many.
I couldn't believe it. Over that?
Because of the fact that we have a popular network, we don't get that many hate texts and tweets. Nothing. It's all love, and people
love
like us. We gain followers each and every week, but all of a sudden, Vito decides to channel his inner Carlos Monterrez.
Or Drew Sharp, right? Yeah.
And came out with a hot take, and people didn't kind of receive it too well, which is kind of surprising. But basically, the way you look at it, though, Vito, in the counsel I would give you is, those that reply like that are just the ones that obviously disagree. And right now, nowadays, we don't have like really a great amount of debate going on. And so all the people that wrote you on Facebook was just saying like you're inexperienced, you're young and stupid.
Using my age against me. By the way, it's funny. So the one comment, well,
let's set the scene.
Relating to that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's set the scene. What did you do?
What did I write?
To rile up the people on Facebook regarding a blog you put together for the Detroit Athletic Company?
Well, first and foremost, my take was that the trade's overrated. It's not as exciting as people believe it is.
And this was before the 3-game losing streak, too.
It was before, so now I'm looking all smart once again. So I wasn't because they had the 5-game winning streak. So I was looking dumb. My take wasn't good. It was irrelevant. I didn't know what I was talking about. They were using my age against me, my youth against me. And it's funny, I wanted to bring up the age comment, one of them. The guy on the Detroit Athletic Company blog site, in response to my article, commented, Mike Hansen, by the way, from Oakland University. Love that university even more now. It says that in his Facebook bio. Anyways, he commented, as I read this, I thought this guy's full of, I'll just say it, shit. Now I see why. You're only 22. and haven't experienced life yet.
You're not that much of a loser, are you?
I hope not. I hope not, Howard. And then he said, don't worry, I didn't know shit either when I was your age. The funny thing is, in my Detroit Athletic Company bio, it still says I'm 22. That's when I started at the Athletic Company. I'm 24 now. I'm not as youthful. The thing is, though, don't use that against me. And you're ripping me apart because you don't like my opinion. But guess what? I'm speaking the truth here, baby. Pistons aren't going anywhere. These are unrealistic expectations that these Pistons fans are placing for the Pistons to achieve with Blake Griffin. One player for the front court. How about the back court? How about the perimeter play? Who can shoot? Who can score? Nobody. You lost your biggest scoring presence in Tobias Harris for outside shooting, outside scoring. Now, they got outside shooters, but how consistently can you rely upon Anthony Tolliver, the Tolliver effect, as they call it, and Luke Kennard? You can't.
But also, don't sugarcoat it. You kind of also threw out there in your article, because I did read it top to bottom.
You did. Thank you.
You kind of insinuated that Andre Drummond's peaked.
Yes. That's my opinion, my hot take. Now, that's controversial. That's the only controversial aspect of my article. By the way, not everybody was attacking that tidbit of info in my article that I wrote. Now, that's the most controversial by far. Everything else, I'm speaking the truth. I'm being a realistic pundit here of the Pistons' move for Blake Griffin and of their future. And I'm being a douchebag, I guess, too. Maybe, according to some people. But anyways, that was controversial. Andre Drummond, has he hit his peak at 23, 24? Probably not totally, maybe not totally. I'm just saying he is, and I can take that stance. That's my take, and you got to live with it. I'm living with your dumbass comments for some of these people and using my age against me, so you got to live with my take. And it is kind of a hot take, but you have to have that bravado, that hotness to your takes at times, right? When you write a blog piece, write an article for the Free Press, the News, the Detroit Athletic Company. I think you have to have that with your articles too, Doc.
So now you faced it. You faced some criticism. I obviously came in and defended you because
You're trying to be nice, yeah.
No, I wasn't trying to be nice. I agreed with what your stance was because of my reasoning was better than anybody else's reasoning in that the reason...
Better than mine, by the way? You said everyone else. Better than my opinion?
No, I'm not, I didn't, I agree with what you were saying, but people that were commenting were totally against tanking.
Yes.
And they don't understand. They couldn't wrap their minds around why tanking was the best way to go and why the Pistons, and they just kind of made their case why tanking is terrible. And so people are avoidant, and my opinion was that they're avoidant to tank and lose games because they don't have any confidence that when they get these high draft picks, and I put in a perfect example, the Pistons drafted Greg Monroe ahead of Paul George when they had a top 10 pick. That's embarrassing. You can't do that. When you have a top 15 pick and you draft Greg Monroe, a guy that can barely move, a guy
just got bought out and picked up by the Celtics.
Yeah.
So what did that say about Greg Monroe? Yeah, a guy that can't play defense. You're
ahead
right.
of Paul George. People are adverse of drafting because they don't have any confidence that our management can pick the right people. I mean, there's been a myriad of draft picks that we've whiffed on, and so I can understand that part of it, but you can't run your organization thinking that your general manager is garbage. You can't think as a fan being scared of what your GM's going to do picking in the draft when you have to build your team through that way. You're supposed to tank.
And see, that's the adversary aspect of things. They're going to use, Stan Van Gundy hasn't drafted well in the past, so why do we trust him now to pick? Well, you got to, or you get rid of Stan Van Gundy. But that's not the fans' problem. That's not our problem to worry about. Right. It's about what's the best case scenario for the team. With Blake Griffin, it's the 8th seed, 7th seed, 6th seed. You tank, you rebuild for the future, and you get superstar players like Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a guy you want to build around for the future that can score as well and score better than Andre Drummond.
Well, Vito, I think you're seeing it now that you've grown up to be 24, 25 years old.
I'm 24. I'm very much a grown up now.
You're starting to see that the fans, when we get players in, they overvalue
They do.
Because Blake Griffin's not that good.
He's a star. Maybe. Star.
Top 15.
Not a superstar.
You're paying him like he's top 5 when he's really, top 15. And
top 20. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
you're right.
And so basically you had that. You had Tobias Harris younger and cheaper. He scored 18. Blake Griffin scores 25, but doesn't play any defense. So you could have kept Tobias Harris and then just kept losing because it wasn't all that bad. You could have tanked and then gotten maybe a top 15 pick. Now you don't have a pick in 2018 in the first round. It's pretty bad unless you have, I think, if you land somewhere in the top 4, then you get to keep it. But after that, it goes away. Bye-bye.
Well, it's like tanking has such a negative connotation that people want to jump off the cliff. When they hear tanking, they can't accept it.
Yep.
And I believe, too, these people will say that the Sixers haven't proven themselves yet. They'll bring up that, and I give them a little bit of credit with that. There is some merit to that because they haven't totally proven themselves. But look at what they're starting to do. Now, it took a while to get to even this point where they're hovering around 500, but they're getting better and better. And guess what? Them taking is going to allow them to get into the postseason now, and they probably can win a first-round series. Can the Pistons even win a first-round series as they're currently equipped with really just a good front court and nothing else to support that front court? They're not going to win a first-round series. They probably won't even get into the playoffs this season with Blake Griffin. 8th seed at best, but they have to jump the Miami Heat, the Sixers. Do you think they're really going to jump the Sixers? With what they're building in Philly, how they're playing of late, how Embiid's been playing, he's a dominant force and already a more dominant force than Andre Drummond. And I know there's only a year difference, but the difference in Embiid and Drummond is the difference in picking in the top 3 where the Sixers picked Embiid at number 3 and then picking number 9 as the Pistons did when they got Andre Drummond, who I believe, once again, is a hot take, but I believe he's hit his ceiling, and I'm going to live with that take and the repercussions. If it turns out negatively for me, I'll live with it. I'll take the accountability. That's the thing. I embrace all of this. It's good, healthy debate. So I like the negativity, the people calling me out and saying my take isn't great, isn't relevant. Well, keep coming at me. I like it. I embrace it. And honestly, reading through some of these comments, they were so stupid that it was funny for me. I ended up laughing out loud in response to a lot of these comments. So they haven't destroyed my confidence and all that stuff, too.
Now, I want to ask you, when you write something like this and it starts to get a little bit of buzz and a little bit of response, on the negative side, does the Detroit Athletic Company talk to you about it? Or they do say something like, hey, Vito, tone it down? Or they say, wow, that article you wrote got some traction. Interesting stuff.
It's that, the latter. Dan Holmes, the editor, I can say this, I think, out on the airwaves. He said it was a good article. He said, good job. He liked that people were commenting. It's about that, man. That's why we just talked about Carlos Monterrey, that article, remember? About trading for Tom Brady, trading Stafford for Brady. That would be the right move for the Lions, even though Tom Brady's 40. Guess what? It's the same thing for this. It's a hot take. It's clickbait. I bet he's gotten more clicks for this Pistons article than he's gotten for all the past 10 Pistons articles that have gone up on the Detroit Athletic Company blog site. I really believe that. And that's why he liked it. Even though it got a lot of negative comments, a lot of people slamming me and saying, I don't know what I'm talking about as a 22-year-old. By the way, once again, 24-year-old, almost 25 in June. But he liked it because it sparked debate. You need that. And he's getting that now, that kind of traction for this blog piece from me.
Okay. Well, I give you credit because I thought it was well written and it was good stuff. Interesting stuff there, Vito.
I'll live with the repercussions, the people slamming me.
Okay.
So I'm all good. And the Pistons aren't all good. And with that being said, let's take a quick commercial break here on this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres.
Vito, I want to tell you about our host site, Podomatic.com. When Adam and I first started this project, we were looking for a great place to host all of our recorded audio. And thank goodness we found Podomatic. Why do you ask? Why do we use Podomatic exclusively? Well, when we record a podcast, when Vito and I tell jokes, when Doc and Jock record their podcast, when the Motor City Sports Rant is released, we want to be able to upload our audio quickly, and we want to generate links so that our followers can find it and listen to our podcast on demand. And thank goodness Podomatic has been so user-friendly, so easy to use. Even Vito uploads podcasts.
Even me, yes.
Pretty quickly. If you're looking to start a brand new podcast and you're listening to us and you're like, wow, I think I can do that, we recommend one host site. Vito, Adam, Jason, Steve, Jerry, all the hosts here on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. Adam, he'll tell you, you have to use Podomatic.com.
Yeah, we're coming now.
So I can use Podomatic.com pretty well. And now I would like to use the $15 minimum wage. Oh, how about that? Now that has been discussed. Is it going to happen? I don't even know the specifics of if it's going to take place, when it would, if it, does become law and whatnot and pass. But I guess first and foremost, first with you, Doc, what is your stance on the minimum wage being raised to $15?
See, people, I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but you got to remember, we live in a capitalistic society, okay? So in the end, what happens is people don't want to see what will happen, or they don't want to acknowledge the repercussions of having a $15 an hour minimum wage. Okay, what will happen is then owners of restaurants, owners of places that have this will just raise prices. They'll just incur the fee back onto those same people, back onto me. And so here's the thing, okay, Vito, and sometimes people don't want to say this or they don't want to acknowledge it, okay? A lot of these people that are working in these fast food restaurants, they want to get paid more, okay? They talk about cost of living. They talk about, all the profits of the company and things like that, okay? But here's the way it's supposed to look, and here's what will happen is maybe what we call an unintended consequence, okay? What do people typically do when they start off at a restaurant job making $8 an hour, and now it's $9.25, I think, is the minimum wage in Michigan. They work, and they find better. They improve themselves. They go out there and they look for new jobs. They go out there and they say, look, I just need to learn skills, save some money, and move on. You start paying people $15 an hour, they're going to get that job and stay there for 3 and 4 and 5 years. You're going to stunt people's growth because people in general are lazy. Okay, Vito? You have to make low-paying jobs just that, so that people leave them and look for better. You don't want to pay low-skilled jobs. I mean, you don't need a lot of skills to flip burgers. You want to pay...
Wow, hot take.
No, it's not a hot
joking.
take. It's
I
not a hot
agree. I'm
take.
joking with you. I agree.
It's a scenario in which you want the job as a starter job. You don't want that to be your career unless you're going to move up to be a manager or own 15 of the places. You don't want to pay jobs that are low skill $15 an hour. You want to keep it so that it's within reason, enough to get somebody by, save up a little bit of money, and get a new job. I don't agree with paying people $15 an hour. That's ridiculous. Because in the end, if I had to pay you $15 an hour...
You say F it. Forget me. I'm out.
I'd have to raise the prices on our contributors. I don't want to do that. I like those that pay us $1. I don't want to have everybody that contributes that $1 pay $5. And then that's what I would have to do. You'd have to then start charging people more money. Because look, people just don't want to understand the game of capitalism. And the game of capitalism is I need the most, X dollars. And so if you're going to cut my profit by making me pay the employees that much money, I'm just going to raise the prices.
And then not as many people will get hired.
Exactly.
Not as many people will get jobs.
They'll
Those
lose
kind of
jobs, yeah.
They're going to lose their jobs.
Exactly.
I think there's way too many negative consequences. And that one was the other one that you didn't really hit on, but that's the other one I would say.
Yeah.
The other negative aspect.
The other negative aspect is instead of having 2 people instead of paying 2 people.
For a job where you maybe need to, right?
I just have 1.
And then you're less efficient as a restaurant. Yeah. So these restaurants go downhill. You don't want to go to these restaurants anymore because they're too high priced for you as a customer, too. When you're paying for a burger, now it's going to be what? If it was $15, it's $25 to $30 now. It goes up that much, and you can't afford it. The average Joe can't afford it, isn't going to go to your restaurant, so the restaurant's going to lose business. It's not a good business model, is it?
Nope.
It's not, from any angle. And then, like you said, the worker who gets that job might not work hard. Because when you get that $8 or $9.25 job, you're going to keep working hard to move up the ranks. Or you move on eventually to another job that does pay the $15. But to start off with $15, it's nonsensical to me. It's not a good business model because I think it stunts people's growth. It'll cause these people not to work as hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It teaches them a bad lesson as they move on in life, too.
I think that you just want a minimum wage to be, I think you probably could just cap it at $10.
That's fair.
That's
what's the
wage.
most you would go? 10? Maybe $12.50 or no? I say 10. But maybe $10.50. I don't know.
It's $9.25 now.
Yeah.
I say that you want to keep a minimum wage in the neighborhood of a percentage with inflation and things like that. I can understand it, but for a restaurant job to be $15 an hour, come on, man. No.
And inflation doesn't cause it to go up that much anyways. To increase that much?
No.
I don't really understand inflation, but it doesn't go up that much because of inflation.
Yeah, maybe
the price for minimum wage.
Maybe go right now from $9.25 to $10.
To 10. That's fair. I think we agree, actually.
Yeah. So
even though I only make around that, I get it, though. The principle is that you keep working hard to make more money eventually. Or you move on to another job.
Yeah, so
you have to have that thought process, right? That mindset, I think. It betters you.
I think people that are working in restaurant jobs that want that much more money are just looking out for themselves, and they just want
more money. They just want more money. Which is what the capitalistic mentality, though, from their perspective. But how about you go on and get another job?
Exactly.
Right? You go better yourself.
Yes.
I think that's
change
what we're
jobs.
trying to say.
Yes.
Are we going to get called out for that?
No. Change
I don't
jobs.
think so.
I don't think so at all. I think people recognize that. I do believe that popular sentiment is that, okay, did you even care that they protested? I didn't even care. I just don't go to those restaurants. Oh, okay, you protest at McDonald's? Great, I'll go to Wendy's. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'll go somewhere else. There's a myriad. And for better burgers, look, if you want to make $15 an hour, go out there to like a Shake Shack or go out and make a better place and become an assistant manager. Do something more than...
go to a bigger restaurant. Go to a real restaurant, not a fast food restaurant. Go to a real restaurant.
Yeah, or become an assistant manager or do more, imagine you pay a burger flipper $15 an hour or a person standing
It doesn't seem fair.
No, it's not right. It's too
doesn't
much.
translate.
I
agree.
Exactly.
We will agree on that one for sure.
Exactly, Vito. Good stuff. I agree with you 100%. But do you see it happening? Do you see I don't see the groundswell.
I don't see a push enough for it.
Right. Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm glad there's not going to be a hard enough or big enough push for it because it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And once again, this is coming from a guy that doesn't make a ton of money. So what does that say?
No, you understand, Vito.
You know what I mean?
I think that you've done and I pointed out in my response is like, look, how can you say that Vito sucks as a writer when 6 different organizations hire you and employ you to write?
Employ me, and then can you write this? It's always ludicrous because these people that say it probably can't even write the comment right.
Right.
They can't even speak English. They can't even write English and make the sentences make sense.
You know what pissed me off and what I referenced on the Motor City Sports Rant this week is when I ask a question on Twitter, right?
Uh-huh.
And people will ask me, is this a real question?
I saw that, and you got pissed. I saw your tweet. You were pissed at, was it Mike Payton from Pride of Detroit?
And I don't want to call him out. He's a good dude, but
But you do want to call him out.
I did.
Yes, you do.
I did on the podcast.
You did on Twitter, too.
I did on the podcast. I said, look, you can debate me. You can hate the question.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just go out there and then answer. Say, I agree it should be Matthew Stafford, because the question that I asked was, the top 2 paid quarterbacks in the NFL are Matthew Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo. Who's going to have a better year in 2018? That's such an outlandish question. I'm a fan. I think about these things. Okay, and so I responded on Motor City Sports Rant. I said, look, I've built a following asking questions, speculating. You know what I mean? I know Mike's a journalist, and he looks at facts and things like that. He doesn't want to debate these things, but there's
Then
a legitimate...
Why even respond then if you don't want to debate? Why even read it? He can go scroll right through that.
There's a legitimate chance that Jimmy Garoppolo could have a better year statistically.
Yeah,
and if you want to hear my rational argument, it's not anti-Stafford in my argument. My argument was simple as that, you know what, I think the Lions are going to run the ball more in 2018, so I think Stafford's numbers are going to come down, and Garoppolo is the hot, sexy new toy out there in San Francisco. I think that he's going to have the better season, the better stats, and I do believe that he might get more wins out there. But to go out there and call me out for asking questions, people do that all the time. And it's like, do you guys recognize that when I tag people, they pay me to do that? And that based upon spurring conversation and spurring people responding to those questions, that you grow your brand, you grow your, entity. And that's what I do, is that I ask questions. Yes, sometimes the questions might borderline on the tad ridiculous, but it's a question. It's not outlandish.
There's not many stupid questions, by the way. And
It's
there is
not.
that statement, that thought process. There aren't many stupid questions.
Exactly.
And you're sparking dialogue. You're trying to build the brand, trying to build the following. That's what you're doing with the Twitter handle. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
And when you go out there and say, is this a real question?
Don't even respond then. Move on, bro. You got better stuff. Write an article for your blog. Does anybody really read it?
Yeah.
I'm really criticizing them now.
No,
but,
they do.
Oh,
I
people
like
do.
Mike. I like
people
Mike.
do. Well, people.
But
Okay. Anyways, moving on.
No. But the context behind that question that he asked is this a real question? Is that it was, I don't have the right to ask that question. That it's so outlandish that it's one sided. That Stafford's going to be the guy with the better
and then
stats.
you proved it. But you did prove it, and more
Yeah.
power to you. So you proved him.
I said,
wrong.
look
Really?
at the math. That based on yardage and touchdowns and wins and things like that, there's a chance Garoppolo's going to have himself a decent run at being a successful quarterback. So it's not an outlandish question. So if you disagree, you could even say, look, not a fan of the question, but I think overwhelmingly I would answer Stafford. That's fine. I
Why
can do
even
that.
respond with not a fan of the question? I mean, just respond with your answer.
Yeah,
If you really
exactly.
want to respond, okay, you want to spark dialogue for your own following, for your own blog, Pride of Detroit, right? Just answer the darn question. Why become so petty and say, oh, it's not a worthwhile question? You shouldn't be asking it. What gives him the power to say you shouldn't be asking it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So people's dialogue when they respond to things they don't like is just really over the top. And you got hate.
Look at me rude. And I
Yeah.
got hateful comments too, but you got to deal with it. You do
Yeah.
at the end of the day as well.
And so you got it on Facebook, which I think is it's a little bit easier to read on Facebook, I think, than on Twitter. I don't know. I just read it. I started laughing too, but some of them were.
Oh, they really went at me like they had a vendetta against me because I'm young, using my age against me. It's just my take, and maybe it was a hot take, but it's my take. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. Remember that too.
You know,
and I
people-
used facts to back it up. I used facts.
Yeah. You know what a lot of people were asking on your Facebook too?
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
Oh my God! You know what, Howard? Let me check. Let me bring out the book that's full of dust.
I haven't asked that in a while because
We haven't talked about it. We
around
haven't.
this time of year. Another good segue, Vito. Check that out. That around this time of year, couples, this past week was Valentine's Day. Couples went out, did their thing. I mean, it's a great marketing ploy for flower shops, restaurants. It's a great time of year for Hallmark and their stupid cards and things like that. It's a money grab. But in the end, Valentine's Day is great for couples, things like that. I took the wife out, bought her a potted flower thing, not with flowers, actually, but with a bunch of Hershey's chocolates.
Oh, you're so generous and kind.
Yes, I'm very generous. I take care of my wife. But what's it like for you being single? I mean, how do you handle this kind of time? Are you lonely or?
I cry at night.
No.
I've been single all my life, so I'm used to it. But it's still Big V's Day. I say it's V's Day, Vito's Day.
When's the last time you were with a woman?
Howard, let me get back to you on that one too. A lot of tough questions there, but realistically, I don't really mind it. I snuggle up in my bed, maybe cry a little bit, read a book, maybe cry at the end of the night, and go to bed.
Vito, I can't
Very
believe
sad, lonely times.
I'm disappointed
for me,
in myself on Wednesday. I should have texted you. Here's what you're going to do now from now on. Not this year because it's past now, but here's what you're going to do going forward.
Uh-huh.
On Valentine's Day, that's the day you doll yourself up, wear that nice hat, get that suit on.
Like just
and
walk around.
Go to the bars. Yes, because
Randomly?
No, because I'm serious. Single women who are lonely go out to the bar looking for affection.
Is that Psychology 101?
Vito, it's
It's just common sense 101, right?
Common sense.
Yeah.
No. Your boy Nick should have told you this. And shout out to Nick. He was getting his groove on at the Pistons
You
game.
told me he was kissing somebody?
Yeah, I texted
But
him.
a woman?
He didn't reply, but I saw him. Yeah, I was like, dude, you're going to watch the game or kiss your girlfriend the whole time? Hey. He was having himself a good old time. But yeah, around the time of Valentine's Day, single women go out to bars because they're lonely and they kind of hook up a lot, of course, because they're lonely, seeking affection.
Hooking up? Who brought up hooking? I mean, who said I wanted to hook up?
Why do young
They
ladies
wanted
go
to
out
meet a woman.
No.
Talk to a woman. Get to know her and her personality.
No, Vito.
No?
Word on the street is you have a good chance of, taking a young lady home and having a good time. Adult fun. On
yes.
Valentine's Day, that Wednesday, you go to the bar and you're going to see a plethora of single people because that's where guys go to meet single women and have a good time. You never heard this? That women,
No, I believe it.
Yeah, single women go out on Valentine's Day quite a bit because they're lonely. They feel like, oh my gosh, I'm missing out. So they go out, they have some drinks, so you can go out there. And as a single man, you should go out there and, take like $100 with you, save up next year, a couple $100, go out there and just shower the young ladies with some alcohol and they'll love you. And even if
shower the ladies with alcohol.
And even if you don't, score the adult fun that I'm looking for you.
To hear about on the podcast too.
You can make a new friend.
Yes. And I could use a new friend that's female, you're saying. I have too many male friends.
Well, unless
too much sausage in the kitchen.
Unless, you haven't formally told me your status, but if you're interested in the young ladies, then I think that you should go to the bar on Valentine's Day and just sit at the bar, watch TV for like the first 20 minutes. Get comfortable because I know you're a shy guy, but
Am I a shy guy?
Here's the routine. You go to the bar.
Well, maybe with the ladies a little bit, but anyways. Move on.
Go to the bar, sit down for 20 minutes, order your first round of drinks, go on and watch TV, chat with the bartender a little bit. Then after 15, 20 minutes, kind of look around, see who's out there, and then you start making your move. Get down, get down on the floor.
Get down on the floor? What?
Get off your chair,
Oh, yeah.
plant your feet, and start walking.
And start dancing. I'll just start dancing with my top hat, my fedora. I have a fedora, a few top hats like that.
Start
Go out
making-
there and
start making the rounds.
And start talking.
Hey,
Yeah.
how are you? What's your
How
name?
about hooking up with a bartender? I'll be talking to him or her, and now maybe I'll be hooking up with that person by the end of the night.
Exactly.
Who knows? Now, let me ask you, what do you think of Tinder on Valentine's Day? Are you still against it? I know you weren't for it before. How about on Valentine's Day? Because of what we're bringing up right now, that aspect of the girls being lonely.
I think Tinder is dangerous because from what I hear, a lot of the people on there might not be the most stable. But that's what I hear.
Most mentally stable.
I've
And who do you hear
never-
this from?
I'm the least.
Well, I know you haven't. You can't be on Tinder. Come on.
I'm the least proficient person to talk about online dating. I never did it.
Okay.
I always heard bad things about it.
See, now it's so popular. Like, I've had Tinder and everything because everybody does it. It's more of that.
Are
I
you
go
on
there
there? Are you
off
on
and
there? Are you on there?
I've been on there.
Can we do a video of you swiping left and right, and just real quickly when we're done with this?
No.
Just no swiping session.
I got rid of it already.
Oh,
I go off and on.
Oh, you don't have
I go
profile?
back and forth.
Oh,
See, a lot of people do that, by the way. Like, you get, I guess you feel desperate, or you don't have anything better to do, and you go on there at the end of the night. I think a lot of girls and guys do that, too.
Oh, Vito, disappointing.
Weirdly, but true.
Why don't you sign up one for right now while we're talking? Sign back up.
No. App
Not-
space.
No.
Oh, only because of that.
What's app space?
I'm saying space on my phone.
Oh, you don't have enough space to put
Not enough
Tinder on?
space now. Not enough space, at least for the purpose of this episode.
Okay. Are you feeling lonely? How are you feeling being single right
No,
now?
I don't care.
Okay.
I deal with it.
Okay.
I don't need any help from you right now.
Not yet?
Psychology, you don't have to go into my head and find out my inner feelings or emotions. I'm doing all right.
Okay. Well, I know your friend Nick tries to set you up. I've tried to set you up. You had opportunities. You're not...
Yeah, I've talked about opportunities. I've had women around me that I've
Did
talked
you
to.
keep up that conversation with the young lady you met at the bar?
An older woman.
Yeah, what
Let me
happened?
remember. That's a goner. I do have another woman I've been talking to.
Oh, what happened?
So who knows? Oh, it's still actively going on, but nothing's
Oh,
set in stone.
Latest
Nothing's-
round of Vito's love adventures.
Yes.
Tell me about this young lady.
Nothing's been firmly established.
Who is she?
Her name is Karen, and she likes dogs a lot. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, Karen likes dogs. Where'd you meet her?
Where did I meet her?
Yeah.
At the bar, I think, a few weekends ago.
Okay.
Forget now, honestly,
Okay.
which
Is,
bar.
is she
but-
in the 20s? Is she in her 20s?
Yeah, she's younger. She's around my age.
Okay, she's around
I don't
your
know
age.
if she's interested in me like that, but we have been talking. So there might be.
About what?
Excuse me? Talking about what?
What do you guys talk about when you text her?
Actually, about what she's interested in, what I'm interested in.
Okay. So here's the thing I see in you, and that's maybe a little bit concerning, is that you're so nice that I think women are going to put you in the friend zone quick. And
I could see that too. I agree, and I think I witnessed that. I have witnessed that. I think you're right.
Okay, so
to a large degree on that front.
Is Karen a young lady that's on your Facebook page now? Is she a friend?
No, I don't want to do that yet. I don't even know if she has a Facebook because I don't want people like you looking her up, and I don't know what you would do. You wouldn't message her, but I mean, it would become a bigger story. Like,
Vito,
even though we're already broadcasting it now to the world here on this podcast, but
you're taking this like all wrong. You make friends with girls and you just text them. That's all you do. Literally, the next step is like, okay, go to her profile and add her. Because here's the thing.
You would do that? See, nowadays,
yeah,
I'll tell you this much. Let me say one thing. Nick Schmiegel, who you think is this macho man, now he's been with, women, but he doesn't add these girls on Facebook himself.
But see,
he doesn't do that.
See, Vito, here's the part I don't understand. If you're friends, you can then kind of see what kind of stuff she posts. Like, then most females, I would say, do post like memes. They post stuff about their past. They post stuff like you could go see, and she could have a meme of like anti-Trump, and she's like, "I hate Trump. He's the most da da da." Or she could be like, "I love the minimum wage being $15.
Then I might be turned off. Yeah,
right. So you learn about her, and you're like, "Okay, I stick her in the friend zone." It's another way of getting information without asking her.
I'll say this much: I still look up people on Facebook. I just don't add them.
Okay, so
I haven't looked her up.
Have you looked?
But
her
I have
up?
looked up girls in the past.
Are you interested?
I'm no fun here, am I?
Are you interested in her in that way potentially?
I think so.
She's cute. Oh,
Yeah.
Karen. Okay, you got her phone number? Want to call her up? What does she do for work?
She works at a. I'm not gonna tell you where she works. I know where this would end up. She's a dog. She's into dogs. She's a dog groomer.
Okay.
I don't know what it tells you.
That's great.
Says, but
okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you.
All right, Vito. That's not bad. So you made a new friend.
I've made progress. I mean, I'm not desperate. Once again, I'm not in that desperation mode. I don't feel lonely.
Okay.
So I'm not like that. I'm not depressed on Valentine's Day, or I wasn't on Valentine's Day, and
Okay.
I've never been, honestly, even though I've been single all my life.
Now, Vito, there's an
Yes.
opportunity to Netflix and chill,
Yes.
realistically, not the perverted way that people say,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
doing
what it leads to. I know what it leads to, trust me.
Yeah, exactly. Just say, hey, come on over. I want to watch Netflix. Come to my parents' house.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't. I got my brother. My brother's such a snoop. I got to get on him for that. He is such a snoop. He'll go on my phone like he's a 12-year-old, snooping through my text messages, what I'm doing, who I'm messaging, what I'm searching. He does that crap still. The kid, he's 21 now, and he's still doing that, Doc.
Oh.
Foul, right? That's not fair.
Yeah, that's not right, Vito.
Not right, man. But I guess when you live under the roof of your parents, right, you got to deal with certain things like that, including your brother being like that, even though he's 21 years old.
How do you think single people should handle
Valentine's Day, honestly? Well, don't cry and be depressed, but you can't really tell somebody that, right? Some people do take it that bad, don't they? Like, have you had patients in the past where you really can't talk about that? Well, I guess you can say it without names, right? People have come in and probably have been depressed because it's Valentine's Day or around Valentine's Day, and they don't have a significant other in their life at that point in time.
Vito, of course, social connectivity is the number one human need. I think that outside of nourishment, water, stuff like that, you need to be around other people. And so a lot of people feel lonely. It's normal because it's that time of year when those couples that do have the luck and found each other, things like that. Then it's
and then they'll be posting photos. It's like they're rubbing it in. People feel that way, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
That they're rubbing it in.
Exactly.
They're just happy. Can't we be happy for these couples that have somebody in their lives? Right? Be happy for them.
No, don't.
Others don't have that mentality, though. I know that.
Right, but on the other side, now when you're married and you've been married 8 years, like, man, I got to pay another $200 for this holiday. You know what I mean? When do I get
it
that
gets
back?
old, you're saying?
It gets
Is
old.
it a fake holiday, really? A Hallmark
for every guy
created holiday?
I mean, guys like it because they know for sure they're going to get some action. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're happy
great.
about that aspect. Well, if you treat her right, you're going to get some action. If you don't, you'll be in the doghouse for a while, right?
Well, Vito, all I can say is that when you're Middle Eastern or most Italians, you're already getting it 2-3 times a week anyway. I mean, it's like
it
come
doesn't
on.
matter. Huh?
It doesn't
No.
matter. I'm
No.
already over
So
it.
Valentine's Day is like nothing. It's just there on the calendar. Let's get it over with.
Exactly. It's all good. It's fun. You're not going to turn it down ever, but it's all good. I'm good.
You're never going to turn it down.
I'm good in that department.
What man would?
I'm good in that department. I'm flexing. I'm good.
There you go. He's feeling good. Yeah. Well, get better yourself. He has a little cold.
How'd I sound?
You sound all right.
A little nasally, right?
Little nasally. Kind of like me. I'm not too nasally, but feel better. To everybody out there that has a cold or flu, too, feel better, please, because that flu bug is going around and still too rapidly, man.
Scary stuff, right?
Yeah.
Man, oh man. What are you going to do? All right, Vito, it was a good podcast. I enjoyed it.
Good talking with you. Good talking to all of you out there. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Tune in next Saturday again for another episode of Two Bad Hombres 2.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, please help us keep these microphones hot, the studio lights on in our Sterling Heights studio. Visit our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. We greatly appreciate it.
Adios.
Head spin.